Hello my friends, welcome to another video. In today's video, we are going to be talking about some of my favorite badass female characters in books. Now, there are so many that I could talk about, but these are the ones that came to mind first. This is actually a collab video put together by Beccie from BecxReadz. There are a bunch of wonderful creators who are going to be talking about their favorite badass female characters today, so I will leave them all linked down in the description box below so you can go check out all of their videos. So now let's get into some of my favorites. So when I think about badass female characters, I think about women who are independent, strong, courageous, and know their way around a weapon or two. So those are the kinds of characters you will find on my list. So starting out, I had to go with one of the originals, one of the ones we all know and love, and that is Katniss Everdeen from The Hunger Games. Katniss continues to be one of the best female characters, the best badass female characters in book history. And not only is she incredibly brave, but she is strong. And she shows her strength in many different ways, which is what I absolutely love about her. I love that everything that she did was motivated by her love of her family. The whole reason she was in the Hunger Games to begin with was to protect her sister, and the way she fought and continued to fight for what was right after being so incredibly oppressed is amazing. And I had to mention Katniss on this list, obviously, because she is one of the OG badass female characters. Next, I want to talk about Artemisia from Vespertine. I feel like I don't talk about this book enough. I loved this when I read it. In this, we're following Artemisia. She is a Grey Sister, which is someone who prepares the body of the dead in this world so that they don't rise and become evil, hungry spirits, because that is something that can happen in this world. She lives a very quiet, solitary life. She really doesn't like people. She's very much a grumpy character. Very much, which I love. And one day her convent gets attacked, and the only way for her to save her sisters is to take this very dangerous revenant, to let it possess her in a way. And a revenant is basically a very old spirit that is very powerful and does not like humans. So she now has to battle the spirit and try to stop it from completely taking over her body and mind. But she also has to protect the world at this point. She ends up becoming somewhat of an unlikely hero, which is really fun. And because she wields the power of the Revenant, she is also incredibly powerful. But besides the fact that she is so powerful, I think what really makes her a badass is the fact that she is willing to fight for anyone and everyone. Like, she even says, she has a line in here where she says, "I would never leave anyone to die, not even someone I hate," as she goes back to save someone that she absolutely hates. She has such a strong sense of justice, of right and wrong, and she is very much someone who cannot stand by while someone else is being hurt, while someone else is in danger, when she can do something about it. And that's what I love about her. She is not only a badass, but one of my favorite characters of all time, and I could not make this list without her. Okay, next I want to talk about Parisa from the Atlas 6. I love all of the characters in here. If you don't know what the Atlas 6 is, which I'm sure you do, I talk about it all the time. It is an extremely popular book, but we're following 6 people, 6 magic users who get recruited by the Alexandrian Society as initiates. 6 will go in and only 5 will make it. One of the 6 happens to be Parisa, and she is this incredibly beautiful telepath. Not only is she extremely powerful and knows her way around a weapon, I didn't talk about that with the other ones, but she, like, her weapon is literally her body. Her body, her mind, and not just because of her telepathy, but because she knows that she's beautiful, and she will use her beauty to get what she wants. And like she says in here, there is nothing more dangerous than a woman who knows her worth, and she is definitely one of those women. She is manipulative, she is incredibly smart, incredibly brave in a way that she's not afraid to be who she is, and she's not afraid to be the kind of person that will use her body to get what she wants. And she has absolutely no shame in it, because there is absolutely no shame in it, and I love Parisa. She is sexy and fierce and smart and independent and everything a badass female character should be. She may be a little morally gray, but no one said a badass had to be a good person all the time. That's all I'm saying. The next character I want to talk about is Miriam from Spinning Silver by Naomi Novik. So Miriam is such an interesting character. She is a woman that has had to do the best with what she's been given in life. In this particular time in history, as a woman, she really does not have many prospects. Her only choice is to get married and to marry well, but she doesn't want that life for herself. She is the daughter of a moneylender. However, her father, the moneylender, is a very soft, sweet man, which is great, but that means that he is unable to collect on the debts that he's owed. And because of this, their family lives in poverty. Her mother is really sick. They don't even have the money to get the medicine to help her mother. And so she decides to take matters into her own hands by hardening herself and collecting debts on behalf of her father. Because of this, she gains a reputation. She gains a reputation not only for being this hard person, but also being able to spin silver into gold. She is much better with money than her father ever was. And once she takes control of the family's finances, their situation starts to change. And because of her reputation, she gains the attention of a very powerful fae. That's all I'll say about the book. But Miriam as a character, I believe, is a badass because she refused to accept what life had given her, and she decided to take matters into her own hands, which took a lot of courage, and change her circumstances and her family's circumstances. Not only theirs, but there are women along the way that she meets that she also helps out as well, which just makes her even more of a badass, in my opinion. Together they take on kings and anyone and everyone in their path, and I absolutely loved this. I loved Miriam as a character because she is extremely independent. And even though she's not really skilled with a weapon, she doesn't have power of her own, but she learned to be powerful in other ways. And that is what I absolutely love about this character, as well as the other two female characters that we meet in here along the way. I loved this book. I highly recommend it, and I loved Miriam as a character. Okay, and next, I know I have talked about this book so much this year already because I absolutely loved it. It's my favorite book of the year so far. But if we're talking about badass female characters, we have to talk about all three of these witches in The Once and Future Witches by Alex E. Harrow. We're following three sisters, Bella, Agnes, and Juniper. This is set during women's suffrage, and it's really the women's movement meets the witches movement, and it's so good. But the characters in here are amazing, and specifically I want to talk about Juniper because Juniper is the youngest sister, and she has, because of circumstances from her past, has a lot of anger inside. But the thing about her anger is that she uses it in an incredibly productive way. She uses it to fight for what she believes in. She uses it to fight for her sisters and to fight for the women around her. Not only are all of them incredibly powerful, but these three women are also very independent. They're very strong in their own ways, and they use what's available to them to their advantage. Bella is very studious. She is a librarian. She loves books and words, and she uses words as her weapon. And then Agnes, very cold and off-putting, but also has the ability to manipulate things and people to get what she wants. And Juniper, if you can't tell, is my favorite character in the book. Juniper has her anger, and she uses her anger as a weapon. These are women who are courageous, who will do anything for each other, and the three of them together wield a power that is incredibly unmatched by anyone around them. So I had to mention the three of them. Highly recommend this book. Okay, and then finally, I saved the best for last. This is literally my favorite female character of all time. She is the ultimate badass in my eyes. She is smart, she is independent, she is adventurous, and she is very powerful and knows her way around a weapon or two, and that is Miss Delilah Bard from the Shades of Magic trilogy by V.E. Schwab. I felt such a kinship with Delilah Bard from the moment I first met her in this book. There's just something about her attitude. There's something about how strong-willed she is, how independent she is, how brave, how powerful in more ways than one. She is fully equipped to face anything that life throws at her. If you've heard about this book at all, you've probably heard the most famous line from this trilogy, which is something that Delilah Bard says, which is, "I would rather die on an adventure than live standing still." And that honestly pretty much sums up Delilah Bard as a character. She is someone who's not going to sit down or sit by and let life pass her by. She's always moving, always on the run, always looking for more, which I really love. Delilah Bard is the ultimate badass female character to me. I adore her so much, and of course I had to mention her on here. She was literally the first character that came to mind when I was putting together my list, and I highly recommend getting to know her, reading this book, this trilogy. It's so good, and I'm so excited for the first book in the new series. I can't wait to see what she's been up to. But yeah, Miss Delilah Bard, number 1 on my list. And there you go. That is my list of some of my favorite badass female characters. Talk to me down in the comments below. Let me know your favorites. I'm sure I missed someone super important that I just can't think of right now. So let me know some of yours in the comments. Don't forget to check out the plethora of videos and creators down below in the description box as we all talk about our favorite badass female characters. But that is going to be it from me today. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, hit subscribe, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye!